Hi, YouTube friends. This is Judy, and I am back with weigh-in 7 of my Odyssey to Better Health. And if you don't know, then I am on an Odyssey to Better Health. And Odyssey means journey, where you have many trials along the way. And I think that that certainly fits this better health journey. I had a little I don't know what happened, but my back's been bothering me all week, so I haven't done the dance videos this week. And I'm sorry, I know y'all love them. I love them too, but I think that I overdid it a bit with some of the exercises in the dance videos and either stretched too far or squatted wrong or whatever, but my back was bothering me, so I decided this week I would just not do the dance videos. However, a non-scale victory, uh, I walked 15 miles this week, 3 days. So I walked 4.5 miles one day, 5.5 miles the next day, and 5 the third day. So all I have to say is amazing to me, because I never thought that that is something that I would do and do consistently. Granted, a lot of the credit goes to my great friends, Lynn and Elizabeth, who walk me as if I were a puppy, and because I need to go out. And I know that sounds a little bit degrading, but it really doesn't feel that way. I feel like they're caring for me like you would a puppy. Puppy needs to go out. Puppy can't take itself out. This puppy could take herself out, but they are helping me create hopefully lifelong habits of liking to be outside, enjoying a long walk. Uh, Previous to this, I certainly couldn't have imagined taking 2 hours to exercise in a day, and have it just be a walk. And when I say just a walk, a 5 mile walk is still quite a lot for this short, fat body, but it is getting easier every day and I'm enjoying it more. And as the weather gets cooler, it's becoming much easier. So I'm excited of all the work I put in this summer to get to the point where I'm enjoying it now. So awesome. So because I have no dance videos today, I do have 2 recipes, neither of which is meatless. I can't seem to quite get the hang of it. And I hope you'll forgive me. Some of the quality of the video is not up to usual standards, and not that my usual standards are brilliant, but I don't know what's up with the video. Maybe when I put it all together in editing, it will be great, but yeah, I'm struggling this week with that. So I definitely do need to put in some more time learning better video and editing skills. But since this journey wasn't about being a great video or editor, videographer or editor, it was about just my real journey, then I hope you can forgive some real laxes in the video quality this week. I also wanted to talk to you about something that's much harder for me. And gosh, it's really hard to even say out loud. Been doing some reading and just some, as part of this journey, just some internal soul searching and learning more about myself and my triggers and what keeps me from, or has kept me from, being in better health all along. As I think I've told you in previous videos, I have been heavy all my life. And my family, who I'm sure were trying to do their best, really shamed me for being heavy. And I became ashamed of myself for being heavy. And I really didn't realize until maybe this morning that that actually has been the root of a lot of my issues. Uh, I have felt so ashamed of being a big person, overweight, obese, whatever you want to call it, that I have not felt that I am deserving of praise or deserving of worth. And I didn't realize quite how deep that went. I realize that I feel when I walk with my friends who are doing such a service to me by helping me achieve my goals, I did not realize the shame I felt for not being able to keep up with them on day one. I felt like that was shameful. And I've been reading Brené Brown, Daring Greatly, and the Goddess Odyssey is actually doing a book club this coming Tuesday night. And we will discuss Daring Greatly by Brené Brown. And in it, she talks a lot about shame. And it's funny, when I was reading it, it didn't resonate this in me as I was reading it. But this morning, and I was laying there, and I know that when I walk with my friends, I'm always apologizing that I'm not able to walk as fast as them. And they're like, "Are you kidding? You are walking super fast." And I don't believe them. I don't, when I apologize that I can't do the distances they can do, they explain to me that, I only started this 8 weeks ago. Now, granted, I'm on week 7 here, but I did start walking a week before I started this. So I'm on my 8th week of walking, and I've literally gone from the couch to walking 5 miles at a stretch or 5.5 miles at a stretch. And I don't give myself credit for that accomplishment because in my head, I should already be there. In my head, I am ashamed that I have allowed myself to become so out of shape. Yeah. So anyway, this isn't to be a downer or anything or being down on myself. What it is an awakening. And I'm just saying this out loud so that if any of you feel that way, if anyone or in your childhood or any time in your life, you have been shamed by anyone, even yourself, and that has caused you to feel ashamed of yourself on a regular basis, cut yourself some slack. I am now going to try and develop a new relationship with shame and shame resilience. And that's a big thing Brené Brown talks about. And I would love it if you would join us. If you go to our Facebook page for The Goddess Odyssey, we have a link to the Zoom meeting for our book club, and we will talk about Brené Brown's Daring Greatly. It's a very interesting read. She's very research based, so it's not as frenetic. There's not as much storytelling. So it's not, I hate to say it's not as engaging as some of the other self-help books that I've read or books about disordered thinking. But there's a lot of good scientific data in there, and there's a lot that we can learn about overcoming shame. And shame is such a hard word. It is It's hard. It's not something we need to feel. I feel guilt when I eat the wrong things. And she talks about this. I feel guilt when I eat the wrong things. I feel guilt when I don't exercise. But shame is what I feel about myself. Not that I didn't do something or I didn't take an action, but that I, as a person, am shameful. And no one should need to feel shameful about being human. And I guess in my mind, it was not okay to be fat. It was not okay. It was not normal. It was not right. And so you begin to feel that you're wrong. And perhaps that's why my whole life it's very important to me to be right. Whether I'm in an argument, whether I'm on a test, I like to feel like I'm right. And maybe it's because my whole life I felt like I was wrong. And well, on a lighter note, let's move on. So that was quite an epiphany. That was a non-scale epiphany. I won't call it a win or a loss. I guess it's a win that I've recognized it now and I can change my focus and realize that I do not deserve to feel ashamed of myself because I made mistakes, because I enjoyed food, because I self-soothed myself. It is what it is. I am where I am, and I can only move on from here. So let's stop here and let's look at our two recipes. The first recipe is for Beef Pho, and I call it several times in making the recipe. I say I'm making chicken pho, but I didn't. I made Beef Pho. And then the second recipe is from HelloFresh, and it is Creamy Dill Chicken with potatoes and green beans. So we will go through making both of those, and please forgive me, there is one point when I am still trying to figure out how to get the camera to see everything I'm doing when I cook. So I want you to be able to see in the pan and see me. And at one point I put the phone down to record and it's upside down. So there's a brief section that's upside down. So you can hear me and you can sort of figure out what I'm doing based on the fact that you can hear me and see things, but it's only a short section. It's like 10 seconds, but it's upside down. So I hope you enjoy these recipes and I will see you again soon.
Hi internet friends, this is Judy. Excuse the mess behind me. Just got back from a 5-mile walk with my friends. They are slave drivers. Just saying. Love them to death, but they take me for a walk like I'm a puppy. Anyway, I just got home. I'm hungry, and I realized I bought a meal kit from Fresh Market. And if I don't make it tonight, that meat's probably going to go bad. So I thought, what a perfect time to do our recipe. Now, it isn't a Meatless Monday, but it is a great idea. Fresh Market has these kits that are $20. They feed a family of 4. Now, I'm just me, so those usually last me 3 or 4 meals, which is amazing value. And this one is Beef Pho. So if you've ever had like a ramen house or, well, a ramen house is different, but a Vietnamese restaurant or a Thai restaurant, they sometimes have pho, which is spelled P-H-O. It doesn't sound like doesn't look like it would be pho, but it's pho. And it is a noodle soup. And so we're going to make Beef Pho right now. So let's get this party started. I have my skillet, and we're going to put a couple tablespoons, well, not even a couple tablespoons, a tablespoon of vegetable oil. They call for canola. I have regular vegetable oil, so I'm going to use it. And I'm going to eyeball it and turn the heat up to medium high. And I have a recipe. These recipes, they come with all the ingredients you need, and they come with these cool recipe cards. Now, they didn't have a chicken pho recipe card, so I took the shrimp one, and I'm just going to make it with chicken. So as you can see, it tells you all of the things that you need, and it comes with most of them. And then it tells you everything else to do. So it's really, really easy. Now, the one thing I forgot to do is to cook the noodles, but this says I can do it now. Well, I hope I'm recording now. I have the beef in the skillet, and I don't know if you caught this in the last one or not. I have this big thing of veggies. Some of the veggies aren't what I would normally see in a pho. Most of the time when I have pho, the bowl has pretty much just the meat and the noodles in it when it comes to the table, and then you add bean sprouts, which I forgot to buy extra of those, bean sprouts and fresh cilantro and jalapenos, which I don't put in mine because I'm a spice weenie. So this has a lot of different vegetables than I normally see in pho, but I got to imagine that can't be a bad thing. So we're just giving this meat another couple seconds. We've got our water on to boil, and then once we transfer this meat to another plate, we will put the vegetables in to saute. So I hope you enjoy these recipes. I know I promised you Meatless Monday recipes, and they have not all been meatless. But I do think one of my HelloFresh ones is meatless, and so we will make that tomorrow. And you will have the 2 recipes I promised, just not as a bonus video. Maybe it'll be a separate video, but either way. All right, I am going to color this meat ready for this stage. And usually the meat is cut super, super fine in pho, like slivers of meat, which, as I told you, this is not that. But I can cut it while the vegetables are sauteing, which would be nice. All right. Now, put a little more vegetable oil in the pan. And then these are going to cook for 7 to 10 minutes. That is a lot of vegetables. And again, these vegetables are cut way too big for pho, but it'll all be okay. Now, I gotta salt and pepper these as per the instructions. And I will attach a picture of this recipe. No, I won't, because I probably don't have copyright for that. I will write the directions in the comment section or in the description. So that you all have it, so that if you just want to buy ingredients and not buy a meal kit, you can make this yourself. I don't know if they still make them. There used to be a product in the 70s for making cheese steak that was called Steakums. If you find like shaved beef in the frozen section for making Philly cheesesteaks, that would be perfect for pho. Perfect. Or get a steak and freeze it for an hour and then slice it super thin. That would also be fantastic for this. Now I've got a knife and I'm going to, as I said, slice this steak up a lot different than the way it is right now. Cut it in, you want it in pieces you can eat with a spoon or with chopsticks, and this certainly was not that. So while I love these meal kits, this one, the meat preparation left something to be desired. I hope you're getting the ASMR of all of the vegetables cooking down. That huge pan, all that cabbage has wilted, and it is half the size it was, which is delicious. I actually do like the fact that they've added a lot more veggies than normally come with pho, because that is a great way to be more satiated and a great way to get in veggies. I took a nutrition class, and the instructor's famous catchphrase was, "When in doubt, eat more vegetables." And it's a great thing to keep in mind because vegetables are incredibly good for you and very filling. So, the water's come to a boil, and they gave you this package of udon noodles, and we will be adding those to the boiling water. The recipe takes a lot of pots and pans because my next step involves getting a saucepan and heating up the broth. These noodles are cool. They come wrapped with these little paper ribbons around a portion size. So this package has 3 little ribbon encrusted packages, and I'm putting into the boiling water. And I look at the package to see how long they cook, because the instructions said cook according to package directions. And this says 4 minutes, no salt or oil needed. Drain, rinse well with cold water, drain again. Perfect. I love this handy dandy pasta strainer, noodle catcher. Okay. Give the vegetables another spin. This is going to be so amazing. I'm so excited. I've almost got this meat cut up. I do need to go ahead and get the broth heated. This is my first time cooking udon noodles. I love them in things, but I've never cooked them before. They cook really fast. Okay. I'm actually going to take these veggies off the heat. This is what came for broth. It is Ocean Halo brand pho broth. And it is vegan, I'm assuming. Yes, it is a vegan stock. So if I weren't making beef, it would be great for the vegan part of it. The next step's mixing it all together, which is pretty exciting. Continue to thaw. I got 2 minutes left on the noodles, and we'll drain them. But this is looking amazing. I'm putting the meat back in with the vegetables to make it warm again. Give that a stir. I think these noodles are done. Noodles all in this pot. And I could eat this just as stir fry. This looks amazing. As soon as this broth comes to a simmer, I'm going to mix it all together. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put all of my meat and veg in the pot with the noodles. Give them a spin. See how much quieter it is now that that's done? I could totally eat this just as it is. Part of me wants to. Let that heat up a smidge, and we are done. This is my beautiful bowl of pho. And now I'm going to go enjoy it. Thanks. Hey there, it's Judy. We're going to cook a second recipe this week. This month, I have gone back to try HelloFresh again. So we're going to make this recipe from HelloFresh. And once you've made it, sometimes you can figure it out all by yourself. So, for the next time you want to make it. If you haven't tried HelloFresh, it is very convenient. It gets you everything you need in the bag, comes with a recipe, and it makes it very convenient to make. So this time we're making Creamy Dill Chicken, and it comes with potatoes and chicken and green beans. And we are going to try this recipe. Now this is from their low-cal recipe, so this is 500 calories per serving. There's 2 servings in this package. So let's unbag what we have. First, we have chicken cutlets. Then we have a bag of green beans. We have a little thing of sour cream, some fresh dill, which I love fresh dill. Ooh, a second little thing of sour cream. Some reduced chicken stock. And Dijon mustard, which I have in my freezer all the time anyway. So these ingredients are not necessarily ones that you wouldn't have in your cupboard, except for maybe I don't always have fresh dill. But I almost always have chicken stock. I almost always have some sour cream. And I always have Dijon mustard chicken. And I have green beans quite frequently. So I don't always have potatoes, however. So this recipe is supposed to take 30 minutes with 10 minutes of prep. So I may fast forward some of the prep so that it doesn't take 45 minutes for just this recipe. First step. I got my cutting board, and it says the first step here is to set your oven to 450 degrees. I usually keep my baking tray in the oven for storage, and 2 days ago I grabbed it after taking it out of a 400 degree oven, so we're not going to do that today. So we've done that. Now we need to wash and dry all of the produce. So let's wash and dry our potatoes. I typically wash green beans in my colander, so I'm going to do that again. Because I'm videotaping this, I used my kitchen shears to open this package instead of my teeth that I usually would use. Any dentists watching, I'm sorry. So I've washed my green beans and I've washed my potatoes. So now we can dice the potatoes into 1/4 inch pieces. And these are tiny potatoes, so that should not take very long at all. So, and we're looking for 1/2 inch pieces. So, okay, my potatoes are chopped. Now I'm going to chop some dill. And we are looking to have a 1/4 ounce of dill. And this has a 1/4 ounce of dill, so we want it all. Wow, that's a lot of dill. I was hoping to actually have some. Finely chopped my dill. And now we are going to toss the potatoes with a drizzle of oil and a pinch of salt and pepper and roast them on the top rack, tossing halfway through until lightly browned. Okay, my oven is not at temperature yet, so we're going to pause. Okay, we've moved over to the stove and we are going to start heating up our oil. I tossed the green beans in a little oil and salt and pepper and put them in the oven with the potatoes after I stirred the potatoes. So now we're heating up the oil so that we can start cooking the chicken. Now, one of the other things I really like about HelloFresh is portion control. It's very easy when I cook myself to decide that the chicken breast I have is 5 ounces when it's 8 or 9, or that, you know, the potatoes that I cook, the amount that they've given me for 2 people is really what I consider 1 person. So it gives me some real accountability on my portion and helps me learn what a normal portion looks like. And so I really enjoy that aspect of it. It makes it much easier for me to cook the proper portions. This oven wasn't quite hot enough. I do not hear a sizzle. Well, I'm starting to hear it now. So, oops, that was the garbage can. Sorry about that. So these are going to cook for 3 to 5 minutes per side. And I'm going to now salt and pepper the other side before it's time to flip them. Seasoning your food is definitely something that I learned from the food channel that I've watched for years and years and years. My love of food is well documented by how much I love to watch shows about food, watch cooking competitions. Top Chef is my favorite cooking show next to the Great British Bake Off. So what I love about that show is they're so kind to each other, and they are working tirelessly, like for 10 weekends after working maybe another job all week, in order to win a cake stand. Whereas in this country, apparently we don't get motivated unless the prize is $1 million. Now granted, would I like $1 million? Heck yeah, I'd like $1 million. But I love the way, the fact that they're so supportive of each other, partially because there's really nothing on the line other than a cake stand and bragging rights. And it just makes it really nice. I'm going to back my phone up just a smidge because it's getting, yikes, splattered. So, got some tomatoes in the way there. I need to find a tripod or a stand so my phone can sit up more properly, because then you could see the pan as well. So why don't I show you the pan right now. There we go. Our 2 chicken breasts are cooking nicely. It's almost time to flip them. But I'm really enjoying cooking recipes for you. I am not a chef, but I enjoy cooking and I enjoy fresh food. So if I can make something easier for you, I will certainly do it. I have another recipe I was going to make today, which is super, super fast and easy, but I, for once, did not have a bag of frozen peas and carrots in my freezer, which is really unusual because I usually keep them there almost all the time, partially to make this really easy recipe for vegetable fried rice. So I will make that in the coming week, and you will get it next time. And I have a twist on it, which I'm very excited to try. So, time to flip the first chicken breast. And I let it just sit. I didn't mess around with it while it was cooking. That way it gets a nice sear and it doesn't lose too many juices. So once these are cooked in about 5 minutes, we're going to take them off and let them rest. Another thing I learned on the Food Network and Top Chef is that it's really important to let meat rest before you cut into it. And at that point, we will be making our sauce and taking our vegetables out of the oven. So we're most of the way there. But because this is about 5 more minutes, I'm going to pause this and we'll be back. Okay, it's time to take the chicken out of the pan and let it rest. So I'm putting it over here on this red plate. And then we are popping in our reduced chicken sauce with some water. And I'm going to need a little bit more water to get the rest of this chicken sauce stock out. First of all, it will nicely deglaze your pan. So, swish that around, get the pan deglazing. I might have used too big a pan for this, and it's starting to heat too much. So we're going to take it off the heat for just a minute because we're going to low anyway. And I think it still needs a smidge more water. Okay, that might have been a smidge too much. But we'll let it reduce before we put the rest of our sauces in. I'm going to set you back down for a second. We are now going to add our sour cream and our mustard. So I'm going to set this down for a second. What a mess. Okay. I hope you can see all of this. I am making a god-awful mess. Okay, rinse my hands real quick. And I don't know what you saw or didn't see in that section. I'll check it in editing. But we have the sour cream and some of the dill and the stock with some water and some Dijon mustard. And then we're stirring that up to make a beautiful cream sauce. That looks very, very yummy. And despite the fact that I think I added a little bit too much water, it doesn't look too thin. So I think that's going to be just lovely. We're going to let that cook down for just a minute. I'm going to set this down and I'm going to grab my pot holder. I learned my lesson from the day before yesterday. And I'm going to pull out my other items because, whoa, that's hot. Because they're done. Okay, just FYI, 350 degrees. super hot. I mean, 450 degrees. Super, super hot. Okay, our sauce is now starting to thicken too much. Okay, this isn't necessarily a recipe for filming. But it does come together pretty quickly. Most of the time is hands off. So it's probably, like it said, 10 minutes of prep time. The rest is cooking. It comes together pretty easily if you don't have a camera in your hand. So I'm going to stop this for a second and switch the camera back around so I can show you the rest. So I have a beautiful sauce, which I've now removed from the heat. Turned off the oven because, you know, I tend to forget to do that. And we are going to cut this chicken breast and plate my meal. Okay. First, we're going to scoop up some potatoes and some green beans. Let me just tell you, roasted green beans are one of my very favorite vegetables. Pretty much any vegetable roasted. Just ask Ina Garten. If you ever watch the Barefoot Contessa, that's Ina Garten. She is amazing. And she has such a great philosophy on food and entertaining. She's like, you make one amazing thing, and then you store buy or boutique buy or some other, you buy the rest of the ingredients, and it makes entertaining so much less stressful, and so you can still enjoy your party. And I just think that is the most brilliant philosophy. I think we cooked these chicken breasts perfectly. They couldn't be any less done, or they'd be a little undercooked. Now I'm going to get up the sauce. I'm not sure how this sauce is going to do reheated tomorrow, and I have to say my sauce is a little browner than the recipe looked like it was, and I think I just had too high a heat on the oven for it. So here we go. This is my beautiful plate of food. I think it looks delicious, and I'm gonna go eat it. So bye, guys.
Well, I hope you enjoyed those. Let me just tell you that the pho was very good. I had a lot of issues with the meal kits, cutting of the meat. It really, if it's supposed to be a meal kit that makes things easier for you, that just totally fell below the mark. And the vegetables were also interesting choices for pho and cut way, way too big for this recipe. That being said, it was tasty. I enjoyed it. I don't know that I'll buy it again. The HelloFresh Creamy Dill Chicken was delicious. That sauce was so good. And even the recipe card on the bottom says, if you enjoy this sauce, you could make it with, put it on fish. And I can imagine that would be delicious. I don't really like salmon, but it would be delicious on salmon. It would be delicious on flounder or tilapia, and it would be delicious on almost anything. It was so, so yummy. And I will be making that again. I will be purchasing that from HelloFresh again, I am sure. The portion size was perfect. It filled me, but I wasn't stuffed. So the old me would be like, oh, that was just one serving, that whole thing. And I could have eaten it easily. I could have eaten it easily today. It was yummy, and I wanted more when I was done, but it did fill me up. So it was the right size. Now, without further ado, Let's talk about the scale, shall we? Take a little quick peek at that.
Okay. 217.6. Awesome. This is just awesome.
So that was a big victory. It was a smaller victory pounds wise than we've seen, but that is where I need to be. That may even still be a smidge high according to most people that say you should only lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. But I'm below 220, and I have not been below 220 in so many years. And that is so exciting for me. And my pants are all getting big. I mean, I think it's crazy that some people can lose 10 pounds and they're down 3 sizes. I have lost over 25 pounds and am still in the same pants, but they are fitting so differently, and a couple of them are very close to just being too big. And my shirts are all looser, especially in the waist, but even in the arms, which is a big issue for me. I have a hard time buying shirts because I have very broad shoulders and very big arms and a chest. So a lot of my shirts are big in the waist and tight in the arms. Well, some of the shirts that have been really tight in the arms fit in the arms. I'm so excited about that, and I'm rather proud of it. I am, all of that talk about shame aside, I am very proud of how hard I'm working and the success that I've had. I just hate the fact that I am proud of myself for losing weight, and I feel like it feeds into that whole shame thing. But the whole point of this journey is not losing weight, it's to be in better health. And my numbers and my blood pressure, my glucose numbers, my blood pressure, uh, all are improved. I had a physical this week. I'm waiting to get my results back, but I'm really hoping that I'm close to being able to just get off all the diabetes medicine and just manage it with diet and exercise. And, actually, that's another shame trigger, though, that I allowed myself to get to the point where I developed diabetes. I'm very hard on myself. But if people who know me know that I'm also very hard on everyone else. And that is something that I'm trying to just corral. I would much rather be easy on other people, realize they're human, and most of all, realize that for me, that I am a worthy human and that I am a human, and I make mistakes. I don't do everything perfectly. In fact, I do very little perfectly because perfection is elusive, if not downright impossible. I do believe that we should always strive to be better, and that is part of this journey, striving to be the best version of myself I can be. Um, and I think I'm getting there. A lot of non-scale victories, a lot of scale victories. Next week will be the end of month 2, and so we will have a weigh-in and measurements, and hopefully dance video or 2, and a recipe. But mostly weigh-in and measurements are going to be huge. This is our 2nd month, and I'm really interested to see what's changing. But as I said, I cannot believe I am under 220, 217.6. Yay! And it's all good. It's all going in the right direction. And again, if you'd like to join us, I will put a link in the description box for the Zoom meeting. And if you'd like to join us for our Zoom book club and talk about Brene Brown's Daring Greatly, we would love to have you. If you want to check out our Facebook page, it's Facebook / The Goddess Odyssey. And if you are interested in hearing about different things than what I've been talking about, if you'd like specific recipes or specific maybe ethnic foods, or because I love ethnic food. So I would love to try more of them. I don't make a ton. Or if you would like to see me try a different workout, I'm thinking next month is going to be cycling because I got my bike fixed and I got a bike rack and I love to ride my bike. So I am going to add cycling to the mix. And in case you didn't know, we are doing something, my friends and I and several other people have joined a virtual race around the world. And what we're doing is we're in the group that does running, walking, and multi-sport. So we can do any human-powered sport and convert it to miles, and we count the miles that we're all collectively doing here in town since we can't travel, and those added miles are taking us on a trip. Right now we're going through Mexico and Central America. And right now our team has entered El Salvador. There are other teams that are multi-sport, and there's teams that are just running. And some of them have already reached into Region 2. We are not there yet. I am certainly the slow member of the team in earning miles. But we're all part of a team, and that's super fun, and that's helping to keep me motivated. But when I get on my bike, I can get more miles in a trip than walking. So that's exciting that I may be able to contribute more if I'm on my bike. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and I will see you all next time.